Hello. Hello. Hi, hi. How you doing? Welcome. I feel I'm stuck. I feel my brain is over the place. Ooh. Snake foot, oh god. Hi Malicious Magpie. Hi Wong, hi Dragon Colony, and hi Evans. Hope you are doing good. Sorry, I'm still trying to process like what am I gonna do for the next few days because I feel like I should mend this. I should mend. I feel like I should mention this sooner rather than later, right? But I'll announce this on Discord again, right? So in case you guys don't know that my sister from Czech Republic is back is back in Miri, you know, which is where I am, right? Essentially, she came home, so we've been busy for the past few days, and will be for this week. I feel like, yeah, for this week I'll be very busy, but for a good reason. That's why I said like I'm tired, but honestly, it is for a very good reason. Like it's been really great. It's been really nice talking to her again, and also talking to her soon-to-be husband, John, who both of them actually appears in stream for quite a bit back then, right? They do appear from time to time, so yeah, they're great. Yeah, hi Evans. Hope you are doing good. I forgot to open up closed caption. Wow. So it's also because of this, I most likely actually I'm just gonna make a decision to not really take a break from streaming, but I will not be streaming this Thursday and Friday, because Friday is the day when my sister going to KL and then eventually back to Czech Republic, right? So because of that, I feel like I kind of want to spend this week spending as much time with her as possible, which I feel like, yeah, I want to do that. So this stream is probably going to be a little bit on the shorter side, because tonight we have obviously we have, well, not obviously, but we're going to have a family dinner, and I'm gonna go meet. We're going to meet a really good friend of mine as well, right? Which the friend has been considered as my family, right? He's a really good friend, and I think both of us consider each other as like family already. So, yeah, hell yeah, like both of our family consider each other's family as family. So it's like, joint family. Why not, right? It's for the good fun of it, right? They're nice. I think they think us as nice. I hope. I don't know. It's good you're spending time with family. Honestly, I'm really glad too. It's nice to see her again after like a year. I feel like she came back. She comes back home once a year, which is very understandable, right? Because I'm pretty sure the flight cost, flying from Czech Republic to KL alone, is not going to be pretty. It's probably gonna cost a lot, right? It's probably going to cost a lot. I don't know how much, but it's safe to say a lot. So yeah. So I'll announce this after on Discord, and then I will not be streaming this Thursday and Friday, and then I'll be back on Saturday, which we will most likely be doing repo together. I feel like for the past 2 days I've been spending time with her as well, and no, sorry, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I didn't stream because we went to, like, because she wants to visit the dad's resting place, and then of course we have to go together, right? So it's good. It's great. I like it, right? And then after that we spent time together just going to places. We went to a crocodile farm. Well, yeah, crocodile farm, and then eventually at night we just spent time at home. It was nice. It's great. Yeah. Very, very nice. I like it. I really... I just think that she's nice to have around. Am I biased? Maybe, I don't know. It's nice. So yeah, I'll announce our Discord after. So this stream is probably gonna be looking at Unbeatable demo for. I don't think I can stream for too much time. Oh, and of course, since I mentioned that, you know, John and my sister, my sister's soon-to-be husband is named John, and then tomorrow they're going to take some marriage photos together. Yeah, they're going to take marriage photos together, and then we're gonna take a family photo together as well. So tomorrow is gonna be a busy day. Oh my goodness! I already went to the grocery store, and then just be like, "Hey, 这个拜二我不能来." I just told my boss like this Tuesday I will not be able to attend because, you know, my sister's marriage and stuff. And then my boss is like, "Oh yeah, okay, we understand." Marriage, very important stuff. It's like, yeah, it kind of is. So, hey, lucky me, you know, lucky me. Hi, Evie. But don't worry, after this stream, I'll still be back on Saturday, so gonna be spending time more with my sister and my family. Feels good. Anyway, I want to look at and that's a lot of licks. Yeah, I think I can lick as well. I have this. There we go. I have a normal tongue. I don't have a glowing tongue like the kobold does. Unbeatable! Wow! I don't know anything about this game, to be honest, but I saw the trailer. It's so fucking hype. It looks like Mustache. I don't know what it is. I want to try this game out. I love freedom games. I like freedom games. And this one looks pretty special, I think. I think this one looks pretty special, yeah. So, give me a second. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, my brain. My brain! It's not here. Okay, there we go. Open. Hopefully it's not too loud. Hopefully it doesn't blow my eardrums off. I mean, it's a thing with freedom games, they like things to be loud. Understandable, right? Very understandable. Also, there are a few... Oh yeah, I should mention.
MLEM, 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 MLEM. Yum.
Yum. Because John is the only one that doesn't understand Chinese in the family, sometimes it gets kind of funny when we're all like talking in Chinese and then he just sits there not knowing what's happening at all times, like New bugs, of course, everything's subject to change. Can I use controller to play this game? Question mark. I forgot to check. Why is my PC dying? That's a lion. Holy, my PC is actually dying. How? This game crazy. Oh my dear Jesus. I guess it's only keyboard. What am I looking at? Rumble mode? Oh, I'm gone. Hey, Jade. Do we want V-Sync? Apparently 2 FPS? Yeah. I didn't know this game is so intensive. Can you use controller to play this game? My controller doesn't really work here. Yeah. Interior's gold horde? What? Restart for controller? Okay, I'll give it a try. Look at my Discord message. I don't know. On that day, I might be busy actually. 29th. 29th is the day that I have to visit the doctor, so I don't know if I have time to actually stop by. If I can, I will. Yeah. Okay, so changing it to bad. And changing it to very low helps. Okay. Maybe I need to change this one. Yeah. Steam input. Controller. This is what I get for using a Switch controller, huh? Hey, Blurp. Are you gonna beat the demo? I don't know if I have enough time to do it today. Maybe just stronger PC. Nah, it's all good. It's 2 hours around. Okay, then maybe it's possible. Hi, Zeus Pop. Oh, also, I don't think I can get anytime soon. That I don't think I can get my stronger PC at all. Looks like PC is gonna stay like this for a long time. I'm still behind on bills. I'm trying to save money as well, so unfortunate. If you beat it, are you gonna get a refund and make a negative review? It's a demo. A refund will be free, you know? I don't want to change too much, I guess. But it says it's unbeatable. They can lie to you like that. Ah, I get you, I get you. Alright, let's go story. Unbeatable. Reduce volume, resist violence, retain harmony. Let's do... You know what? I like rhythm games. I think I'm sort of okay at rhythm game. I think I can do hard. I'm gonna give it a try. Impressingly always fish junk. Is my PC dying again? What the hell? What happened? Only hard? Only hard. LB?
You should be sitting up straight, but without stiffness. That should feel comfortable. Don't ever let yourself become tense. Now let's type some more on the home row key. Ready?
Oh, it's the same, okay. Oh, hell yeah.
Using proper rhythm. Wiggle your fingers and jam the keys. A quick snap of the finger, and with practice, that's all there is to it.
Oh. A to attack high? Oh, okay. Press A or LB in the middle? Oh, I see. Okay, so A or left button works. I got confused for a bit.
Are you relaxed? You should be, you know.
Oh. Is it a delay? Am I wrong?
Using proper rhythm,
Hold A to block.
jam the keys. Snap of the finger, and with practice.
What? Press LB to punch a cop. Oh, hell yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Kick his face? Oh, this is so weird. Okay, hold is to block. I don't understand. Why is the rhythm like offset here?
Using proper rhythm, wiggle your fingers and jam the keys. A quick snap of the finger, and with practice, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, game looks really cool, but I don't know why towards the end it's like offset. Is it just me? It could be just me. There's a previous game to this, I never played it. Maybe I should look at the game before. Oh my god, it's so stylized. Rest. This has been an absolute cluster bomb of bullshit. I hope we have some kind of good news. Good news really isn't the thing we do. So many buttons to memorize? Yeah. This is not how the game's supposed to look? What? Is it because I put it at the shittiest... Uh-oh, I cannot change it here. I guess this will have to do. I mean, I can skip the... Potato PC? Okay, you know what? Ah, fuck. Do I go 2D? I didn't know this game is gonna be this intensive actually. Shader problem? Let's go medium. Alright, let's go medium. Maybe I can turn down my resolution. Maybe that helps. I don't know what happened. Is it not supposed to be all red? I mean, that looks cool. Look at the glyph on the table. Right? The glyph on the table, that looks cool. Whatever is in the middle of the table, that looks broken. I mean, we do news good, but still, yeah, actually, kind of. Yeah, so we've been working tirelessly as your team has. What? A team working with our direction? What am I looking at? Full dossiers on our special 4. They're not working with anyone else? Absolutely not. You realize how spectacularly embarrassing this is for us, right? I don't have time. I don't have to tell you. If we do our jobs correctly, which we do, because we do our jobs correctly, as it isn't embarrassing. Medication isn't a solve. No amount of spin can fix a flat tire. Ugh. Walk me through this report. Maybe fresh eyes will help. Restart game? Okay, let me restart game then. If the game only works in Ultra, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay? If the game only works in Ultra, which I'm gonna give it a try if this still doesn't work, then I might have to go 2D. And hopefully 2D I can handle this game, yeah? Hey. scuff? I think it still looks red. Is it just me? It was at medium, right? Yeah, nothing changed. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Unless... Okay, let me try something. It's gonna destroy my PC, but let me try it. Oh yeah, the game only works on Ultra, huh? Oh, that's what it's supposed to look like? Oh, wow. That looks good. How about, you know what, how about high? Does high work? I'm pretty sure high doesn't work. This is just demo. Yep. Oh wait, no, it kind of works. You see that? No, I don't believe this game is gonna be this intensive. You know what? I'm keeping it. If my PC breaks, then I'll change it back. Okay. At least we know what exactly what we know exactly what shader they use for their lighting. I have no idea. Yeah. This again. Wow, look at this one. Slay. Gaming used in an oven. The guitarist, drummer, pianist, vocalist, and guitarist. Are we are we guitarists? Her first, I'm surprised. She doesn't really need an introduction. I mean, she's just a kid. Basically just here as a formality. But whatever, you're the boss. Name is Quaver, practically still a bouncing baby. Only child of blah blah blah, boring. Technically, you could argue she's not culpable. Legally, you mean? On account of she's a child. But she is, though, culpable. I mean, legally, yeah. Of course, we define legally. Culpable. Completely, we make those rules. AO assessment? My take is she's the worst of the four. She's idealistic. That's why. You say this yourself, fresh eyes. What about the others? I don't know what's going on, but hey, we're gonna... The drummer. Clef. You know Clef. Clef, 18. Quaver is kind of the new Clef. That's an odd way to put it. It's not when you have the context that Clef is. Basically, she's proved that the system works. Hooray. I have no idea what's going on still. Do I need to know about the previous game to know what's going on? Because if so, I feel bad. I just see that, oh, new rhythm game. I want to try it. Treble. The less famous twin. Oh, there's no previous game? Oh, crazy. Okay. Oh, this is it? Oh, that's wild. Okay. So, well, in a way, I'm glad. Well, the system usually works. He's kind of the same he's always been. This is Treble, and he's 18. He's Clef's twin. The resemblance stops there mostly. He's the quiet one. They drop you with like info that the characters know, and that's it. Oh, you know what? Fair enough. This is just a demo, right? This is just a demo. Not really much else to say. I've been told he's dangerous. It seems increasingly obvious that underestimating any of them is a bad call. Be that as it may, if you had to underestimate one of them, I mean, yeah. He's not going to do much by himself. If we caught the other tree and he got away, I'll call it a day. There's a proof of concept of the story. There's not much like beating the beats and wiggling the fingers. I don't know. Over there? You saved the scariest for last. She's scary? She's unknown. Unknown is scary. All four of them, she's the one who puts us off balance. I'll be blunt, this is in progress. Most of this I already know. What I don't know is either irrelevant or it's her. And you barely have anything on her. We're fixing that. There's one last thing. Well, what is it? Our team is pretty sure we know where they're all going. What is this leading up to? Do you have a plan in mind? We've already started. It'll be handled. It had better goddamn be. You're both dismissed. Bye, toodles. Damn, slay. Look at them. I can see you listening, you know. Are you breaking the fourth wall? Are you breaking the fourth wall? You have better things to worry about than spying on me. Che. Do I? I can only assume you're doing something in your office all day. I haven't stopped bringing money in, if that's what you're worried about. Are you having fun? So much fun. A sense of humor from you? That would mean there was something to laugh at. You're not very funny. Like... I said dismissed. Was that not clear enough? Hey. Oh my god, hi Brecky. Whiteboard? No. We need it. We can fight. You can fight the one. Oh my god. Oh, Brecky is doing good. Loosen up, will ya? You need to live out to your name a little bit more. Rest? I need to drink. I actually have... Ooh, my sister brought something back from Czech Republic. There's a lot of like alcohol drinks. Yeah, they have like the Czech craft brewery. John mentioned that Czech Republic is like a very famous for brewing beer. I think. I have the Tropiki. John is my sister's soon-to-be husband. He's living. No, he sounds like an NPC. No, he's my sister's soon-to-be husband. I don't know if I. Yeah, you weren't here when I was talking about like John and stuff. So my sister went back from Czech Republic to here, you know, to Miri for a week, I think. But yeah, that is why I won't be streaming this Thursday and Friday, and this is probably gonna be a short stream because I need to do a lot of like marriage thing with them as well. Especially tomorrow, I have to drive around the place a lot to bring them to like photography and stuff like that. Yeah, it's nice. Jade for soft bed? Wow. When the work stops. Come on, hit the beach once in a while. Damn, so stylized. I'm shocked this is still here. But it's good. It gives us a place to lie low. It sure is a place, at least. Should we head inside? Inside that? It looks like Titanus in the box. I'm going inside. Damn it, fine. Hi. Wow. Quiver, what's up? Uh-huh. Oh, nothing. Should we head inside? Yeah. Gah. Gah? Oh my god, gah mentioned? I'm hungry now. Great. I don't trust it. So do I. So actually, neither do I. Is there a treasure chest back there? Oh, it's not. Okay. Great. God, this sucks. A little cleanup and it will suck less. Anybody want to help? I'm tired. Of course. What are you doing? What are we doing? Going back up? No? Oh, okay. A montage? That's cool. I mean, we won. No, we just didn't lose. We're alive, I guess. And given the state of us, I'm wondering how much I value that. There's even like a fridge. We can use that, I think. It doesn't help that I'm hungry. Get something out of the fridge. Oh, great idea. Your bed? Look in the fridge. What's in there? Clef, you weren't actually serious, right? This fridge is older than some of us here. Ugh. That's actually true, I think. But it might still work. We have to get the power on though. I think there was a generator outside. I can check on it. This was actually my parents' old shack. What? Great, my condolences. This place smells like the inside of a used balloon. It's not that bad. Bed. Well, bed. Closest thing. At least it's soft. We should find a less shitty place to stay. There's always outside. Outside isn't a place, it's outside. We're on the run, Clef. There's nowhere else unless we get really lucky. Yeah, we're all going to have to look down the barrel of the shack tonight. Anyone who doesn't make it back to the shack at night is presumed dead. Something like that. Home sweet home. For a really bad loose version of sweet anyway. And home. Is there a generator outside? Oh, that one? This one? Let's see here. This goes here, this goes here. Ooh. You actually got it to work? Maybe that did it? I want to say open sesame, but that doesn't make any sense. This place couldn't get any open. No. Wish we should close it. Only so much a generator can fix. Damn, I'm tired. You want bed? What? Where's everyone? What? Did they got raided when I was outside for a few seconds? Bed. The aesthetic is so good. Can't sleep. Oh my god, that's so cool. Whoa. What? Yo, okay. What is this fever dream? And what the hell is that? Come on, man, lay off her. Aren't you yourself? Or is this a placeholder? Do you know how much money I'm putting into this? How much I spent on you? Are they talking to me? Is this like the memory? Why the shit? Who says why the shit? I never heard anyone say why the shit. Isn't it normally what the fuck? Or why the fuck? Why the shit are we doing this if we can't perform? Did Wolfish a fluffy braggy? B, you can do this, right? I am doing it. I'm not seeing any of it. It was one night. It's all the nights. Is it just me or is the music not like... I should have gone through calibration, don't I? Yeah, sure, went to calibration, I feel like. Something's not right here. I knew what the rest of the conversation was 10 minutes before it ended. I've heard it before from teachers. From my sister's face before her mouth made a sound. All in the shoulders and elbows and eyes. I wish I remembered crying. I think refusing too is more embarrassing in hindsight. But they were wrong. And I just need to... Good mention again! If the next fish is legendary, then that means you cheated. Uh-oh. Ugh. Well, at least the dreams are getting better. Where the hell is everyone anyway? Is that calibration? I have to press slow. So the music needs to be faster, I think. So game offset should be minus. Minus is faster, right? Go back into town. Don't most games auto calibration. Maybe I have to go back, but I'm kind of afraid if I quit now, is it gonna put me at the start of the game again? I hope not. If I quit now. I wanna see if there's like auto calibration, because there's no auto calibration here. At least from this menu here. Maybe this is how they made him unbeatable. I guess I'll go back into town. The hell? There are so many cop posters around here. Join the harm squad. And there an ice sword to boot. Why does it feel like we keep running towards problems instead of away from them? I don't know. Bird. Bird. Yeah, bird. Oh. Sorry. And don't look at me like that. Don't yell at her. I mean, thanks for helping us get out of jail or whatever. Prison. But we've got to be good to us right now. We're not doing this again. Bye and good luck. Okay. Yeah, bye. Hi. What the hell, guys? I think you probably heard what the hell. Clef, she's 12. Exactly, and she needs someone to be a goddamn adult. Whatever, this is done. Sorry about her. And me too. We're not gonna just disappear, we need to get ourselves together first. But right after that, we're probably out of here. I think she needs it, you know? She's been doing this for too long. I hate that I keep apologizing, but sorry. Enter the ramen bar. The word movement reminds me of Paper Mario. I never played Paper Mario before, so I have no idea. Quaver. The slide. Hey, Quiver? I saw them leave. I overheard. Oh, I get to choose? I overheard. I don't get it at all. What kind did you get? You know what? Me neither. I don't get it too. There's not really much to get. I'll say me neither. Anyone would be lucky to be stuck with you. I don't want people to feel like they're stuck with me at all. That's not what I meant. Then speak better. Wow, harsh. I'm sorry if it is. I'm irritated. I don't mad at you, but I'm not in a good mood at all. Look, Quiver, it's not the end of the world. Nice ramen. Must grill? Play Paper Mario? I don't know. It's not! You can form another band! I'm blocking it entirely this month. With who? There's nobody, Pete. Look around. Even people who are okay with us doing this aren't gonna want to go to jail. We found Treble and Clef easily enough. There's gonna be more Treble and Clefs. They aren't. That was luck, Pete. I just want to eat my soup if that's okay. You can eat while I help you feel better. You really aren't. Come on, I just want to help. Oh, it's them. Are you Team Rocket? Damn, slay. Hi. You're Poco and Apoko? What the? We're scared of you? What? Isn't that what we're supposed to say? No, because you are scared. I'm not scared. She was talking to the little kid. I don't even know who you two are. Harm guys? Barely. They're glorified publicists. Oh, are we ever glorified? God, sister, she doesn't know us. Holy shit. What? I didn't read that. Just arrest us already. Well, you ruined the introduction. Are you happy? Jeez. She looks miserable. How could I ever be unhappy to see you too? Did you learn sarcasm? That's new for you. That might be your influence, pink hair. You seem fun. Fun like a dad's toy is fun. You know, Quiver? Well, yeah, we know people. That is the job. Though, not really much about you, which is weird. But is there anything to know? Just get this over with, I'm not in the mood. What a baby. Don't talk to her like that. Soup! Shit. Sorry, I put handcuffs on us already. Actually, we came here to tell you we are going to do nothing to you. Not even a little bit. And the catch is no catch. You're not worth catching. All of this will fade away and you have done nothing but make our boss mad. Who gives a shit? Why bother doing the paperwork? So what? You spend all that time and money and energy and it's just over? That's a dumbass way to look at it. Nobody will care what happened to you by tomorrow night's news. You're irrelevant. So, you know, whatever, baby. This feels weird. You're letting us go even after the train thing? Oh wow, a train crash. Scary. A train crash that you two probably died in. It's less annoying that way. Think of this as a fresh start. It's a generous offer, you should take it. Or you could try to make trouble. Seriously, it doesn't matter what you do next. Like, yeah, sure, go get beaten up by the local cops. The neither will stay ever still. So again, no, you don't scare us. You have to be important to be scary. Toodles? Toodles? I still don't know who they are. I can't read for pickle ears. I'm sorry, my ears are too big. I cannot control them. I think Pawn should be on top of you. That could be a good idea. Give me a second. Okay, where is my fishing? I mean, it is on top of me. Unless I do this, it will be even more on top of me. I'm pondering ball. Put it in you? On you? Oh, on me? Like this? Wait, do you have to be in front for this? I mean, you have to be in front. Not me. That should be on me now. Become one with the pawn? Yeah, sure. Sneak pawn. Hi, Suri. You should play Paper Mario. The N64 and GameCube ones are so good. Oh, you can move the camera like this. Also, give me a second. I forgot about this that I can change. There we go. Today's stream is very scuffed. I hope you guys don't mind. Anyway. Sorry about that. Yeah. The N64 one is on Switch Online, and the GameCube one's emulates good. Oh, it's on Switch? I have Switch. I was basically done anyway. Just noodles and broth left. Noodles are the most important part. It's not ramen without, well, ramen. That's still something. Okay. I don't feel very good. I'm gonna go back to the shack and just... I'm not sure. I'll talk to you later. Quiver. You got 2 kobolds? Shit. Sorry about that. So, it's not the first ball I cleaned up today. At least it didn't break. Check on your friend, it's fine. Thanks, waitress. Way. Well, no prize for figuring out where she went. Can't take the stairs. Why not? Does it matter? Yeah. The stairs are broken and don't work right. You're still here? Just go, kid. Stairs broken? Carpet, don't fish carp. I learned recently that ramen is just the Japanization of lawmen. Oh, lawmin, ah. Oh, lawmin. I mean, no. Okay, look, noodles are just flours, right? They're like noodles. But there are a lot of different kinds of noodles. Now there's like losupan na Hokkien mee, and then you have bihun na, and you have like guantong mee. Those like a lot of different kinds of noodles that you can just choose from. And ramen, I guess, is one of them. It's like I guess it's what makes Japanese Japanese question mark? Car plushie. Excuse me? What do you think you're doing? Existing? And do you exist in the material plane? What? Because if you do, then you collide with physical objects. Like this barricade, which is here for a reason. Should I ask what the reason is? It's to keep you from crossing it. That's all you get. Go the other way. Gosh, everyone's so mean. Bert. 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 The word is originally lawmean, but Japan changed it a bit. But the word for it is just lawmean Japanified. Oh, I guess I don't know anything about that, to be honest. To me, mean is just like mian. Mian is like, I know, I mean, I speak Chinese and mian is Chinese. I don't know. Oh, hey, footprint. Footprint. Oh my god, dog? Great. Hi. Wow, Quaver, you look different. And cuter. Somehow. I know I should just leave her alone, but I hate this. I hate feeling like this. What'd I do, buddy? Hope you're not lost. Yeah, so? Stop making that racket. You're bothering everyone around you. I never really knew her or any aunts of mine. I'm not actually sure if I even have any aunts. I couldn't name any. Ramen was introduced by Chinese immigrants to Japan. Just seriously start. Oh, that's pretty cool. I just know it wasn't my mom. If you don't know the words, don't just hum mindlessly. Be quiet and lip sync as best you can. Maybe it wasn't the church. I was really young when it happened. It could have been a concert or like a school thing, but it felt like church. Boring. So my mind wandered. I thought new songs during, and none of them were good. And it's not your fault, and it's not fair, but you have to do it if you want it. What? See, like now, that's what I'm saying. You don't pay enough attention. Perfect example, you've been running around with Quiver taking all those photos, right? This was literally one of those. Did you even catch that? You should check this place out. I didn't even know you noticed that. You didn't say anything before. I don't say a lot of things, which is probably weird because I also do say a lot of things. So you can imagine that I'm very careful about the stuff I don't. Ugh, thanks, I'll chase it down. You're not really all that patient, are you? She might not really want to be found, you know? Yeah, well, she's 12. Sure, how were you at 12? Anyway, I know these little things, that's all. And don't you forget it. I'm gonna get back to Clef. She's, well, her. God, is she ever. Oh, one last thing. Don't pay attention to the twins. It's so hard not to. They practically radiate theme music. Or they would if they... Oh, they would if the whole thing wasn't... Well... yeah. They will go at the shit out of you. Don't let them. They are very good at reading people at a glance. You can't stop them reading you, but don't let them write news pages. Bye. These rules so much. I wish more people wrote stuff this stupid. Like, look at this! The fake water conspiracy memorial. World's only honest ghost hotel. Clown World is your new favorite spot. Finally, the first ever children only real money casino. And parents, get ready. Leave your brats with your money and your worries behind. Is it a daycare? Is it a casino? The answer is yes. Let your babies grow your savings. This is the worst thing possible. But I'll be lying if I pretended I wouldn't have loved to do this as a kid. How is this legal? Is this legal? Is this real? I mean, Clown World? It probably isn't, but I admire the gumption. Let's see what the first impression is. Turn the frown upside clown. Oh my god. Yeah, no, good effort though. World's only honest ghost hotel? Some hotels claim to be haunted, but only this hotel is for ghosts and not for people. For real, not lying. Hang out with some spooky pals. There should be more ghost hotels. You know the story, now live the story. I do not in fact know the story. What is this? For the first time, see if you would be fooled. With the world's only fake water blind taste test. Oh my god, I needed to know what fake water is. What makes it fake? There's so many nouns for kobolds in Chinese. 小精灵? Nah. We never call kobolds 小精灵. 小精灵 is more like fairs. Hi? Manager? Thanks for coming and enjoy yourself and all that. Let me know if you need anything. Please don't. We're close, Measure. Oh, sorry, get off here. And I need to sleep. Come on, guys, you heard me. Can we just ask a quick question? Alright, fine, yeah? Do you know the shop downstairs? Yeah? Was that a question? What do you know about it? It's a coffee shop that sells books. I could figure that out from the name. I mean, take a look at this. Hey, Measure? Yeah? Take a look at this. What? Oh. Hey! Yeah, wow, I used to work here back when it was, well, like this. Nothing against books and brew, but their coffee sucks and their books suck more. This shop was great though. Where'd you get this? Friend happened to pass it on me? They're her parents. Oh, I know those freaks. Freaks? Sorry, they were there constantly. I always had to kick them out because they kept making out in the... You probably don't want to hear this. Anyway, damn, small world. All the old stock from the shop is still actually in storage here. Really? Shocked the cops never took that stuff. They never cared to look. Huh. Can I? I can't let you do that. I really can't. But I could lend you these keys to the building next door. For no reason. And I could point out how nice the roof is and warn you to not do anything illegal. But if you did do anything illegal, there's no way I would ever find out. You're really, really lucky I'm not a narc, Measure. Anyway, get off my bar and stay out of trouble. Thanks. No worries. This is fun for me too. Did they just give us a house? Question mark. So this may be the ling? No. So anything with a ling is more like fairies, something spiritual. We call them ling. Generic water, generic ad. Fungal footwear. Oh my god, I never read these things. Generic soda. Yeah, uh-huh. Can I go fungal footwear? I can. Fungal footwear? Okay, I... Actually? No. I'm not even going to think about it. Do you though? I'm not thinking about it. I want to make you think about it. Go inside the fungal footwear! Goddamn. Generic soda. Generic... comment. More like... and... bland... That's all I got. Beat tried. A 蜥蜴人? Which translates lizard man and 小龙人. That is a wrong 拼音 eh? 蜥蜴人 is not 离系人. No wait, is that's not AI, is it? No, is that the 拼音? No. Rap curve? Town square? Where am I going actually? Can I go up? Visit the neighborhood? I should probably not follow up that lead. Or, well, I should. I hate following fake negatives. I mean, didn't someone from the bar give me a... I should probably... Oh. Up we go. Break in? Hey, what's this? Our debut? Lighthouse Photo. Midsummer Memories. Oh shit, another one of her mom and dad. Where is this anyway? Uh-oh, that's her! Excuse me, ma'am, can you step over here for a second? Is there a problem? Now if you cooperate... With what? Random search? Was you waiting here for me also random? Was you waiting here for me also random? I want this. Sneak, I got you. Oh, you got sticks? Secret pawn powerful? That's my secret resting plate. That sounds wrong. That's my secret EP place. Loads of money. Yes. Do I have permission to search your person? Does it really matter if I say yes? You know what? Screw this. Wait. Okay, I need to change the I think 30 is fine. What happened? Can I restart? I didn't think you actually go get beaten up by the local cops. Couldn't make that out. Could you speak up? What happened to doing nothing? What happened to not making trouble? Besides, what do we have to do with this? Do you think we're really in charge of those guys? We don't tell them what to do. Hell, we don't even tell the boss what to do. You heard your child friend. Where do you go making around friends with children? We're just glorified publicists, weirdo. You expect me to believe this was an accident? Beat, we're commercials. Do you think so little of the police that you assume they can't do things on their own? Oh my god, hecckin. Dot. See? It sounds ridiculous. Oh, that makes sense. What the hell do you want with that anyway? What do you want with it? We actually know what this photo means. So do I. It's from Cravers. Please stop talking. God, she doesn't shut up. Really now? Yeah, the girl loves her mommy so much. Mommy is such a fun word, isn't it? You know what I think about a lot? What, sis? You don't write a press release for the people who read it. Oh, true. You do think about this one a lot. You need to compress it. Blow up the idea until it can't be taken apart. People always assume that saying a lot of words means you're saying a lot. But most people saying a lot aren't really saying anything. Most people aren't just being loud for no reason. What? Hey, it's a call. It's gonna cost a lot, Beat. A lot. And why? She's not even going to be there. We need to do it. You need to do it. Don't be like that. It's the right thing. Would you be like this if you were doing this in 10 years? Cold. Still too soon. 20? 30? What's the cutoff? It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have. I know. Then we should just... I don't know. You and I can't fight like this anymore. We're all we've got left. You are all I've got left. Not the best day of my life. I guess at least it's not the worst. They're probably off to whatever the photo was. So it's a scripted me being beat up, right? This would be a nice date spot. Man, I haven't had a date in forever. Where's the time for that though? She said, alone. Who are you? Cop? Chief? Howdy. Hi. You run along now. Thanks? He doesn't know you're a criminal. What? Oh, wait, I went to the right way? Oh shit. Now be enjoying myself with the gun creature? Heck yeah. Oh my god, finally! Are you okay? You're not my mom, you know. Sorry, that's mean. I'm a bit better, I guess. Did those two hassle you? I haven't seen Treble or Clef, no. I mean oh, those two. Yeah, they walked this way. And they locked the gate. Did you want to chase them down? I did. Alright, sure, let's go. Quiver. Quiver is so chill. Jacob Solus, hi. Welcome. Did we just speed up the lock? Another one? Enjoying the demo? Yeah. A lot of reading though, not a lot of rhythm going on, so maybe because I'm playing the story mode, so I guess that makes sense. Play SA as well? Heck yeah. You can't get past this gate. Can you break the lock? It's on the other side, Quaver. That's a very bright leather. Hey! Did the cop just drop down from a fucking... Yeah, it's a story, I get it. Hey, what do you think you're doing here? Stop! You violated the law. Hey, yeah. This place is off limits. Trespassing is a crime, bitch. Hey, there we go. The game offset, I just need to change it and now it feels much better. Beat the cop on the... See, I'll take it. Ow. Where's Quaver? Quaver? Hi. Kapow. Got the lock out. Easy. Fish terror present. Oh, heck yeah. Good job. Heck yeah. Maybe I should try Unbeatable, like how I played Rift of the Necrodancer. Dumbass playing on the hardest difficulty. This thing is huge. You know, it looks big because we're up close. This is just lighthouse sized. It's big lighthouse sized. Damn, those boards won't budge. The other door looks promising. What do you mean the other door? This one? Rip off plank. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Easy. Done and dusted. Oh, the mommy's girl and her adult friend. No fish, only decks. That's a lot of fish there. Have you been punched enough today, Pink? Yeah. No, you haven't. You can always be hit harder. Actually, let's demonstrate that. Bring it. Shut up, not you. The little girl. Little girl, we're talking to you. You know my name. When appears. Do you recognize this? Huh, maybe she doesn't. She seems a bit confused, Poco. I don't understand. Yeah, she's confused. Do you know what this is? Of course, but... Oh, look, you do understand. I never seen that picture before. They look so happy, don't they? Where'd you get that? What do you mean? Yeah, like, I'm confused. Where did you get that photo? Oh, Quaver's pissed now, bitch. What photo? Oh shit. I thought if anything. Oh my god, that's fucked up. That is so fucked up, what the hell? I feel like that's the only photo that Quaver has for Quaver's parents, no? And then they just go ahead and burn it. This dude is fucked up. I mean, they slay, but holy shit, fucked up. Like, actually, you know what? On second thought, I think we're done here. Like we said, keep making trouble if you feel like it. The Didos does not move. Oh my god. Jesus, Quiver. Why? Why? How did they even get that? I feel so stupid. Quiver, you're not stupid. I feel stupid. You know what? Screw them. And screw Treble and Clef too. You still have me. This is gonna be so like traumatizing for Quaver to go through. No, seriously, you do. They say we can't do anything. We can. Let's be scary. Oh. That's what you mean by that, let's be scary? It's probably the cutest thing ever. This was really messed up for them to do? Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, duck. Scale sticker? Yes. On your first encounter with the cops, did you win or get beat up? I get beat up. It was like non-stop, I couldn't react to anything, and the offset was wrong. But eventually I fixed it. Maybe I give it a try after. Again, I don't know. But I get beat up pretty badly. Oh, I can rotate. This is what happens when I can rotate things, okay? Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's fine. Nothing looks off here. Because I was wondering what if you losing that fight was the reason the photo was taken by those two? Could be why. I feel like if I could beat up those cops, then I could save the photo. I don't know. But if that's the case, I think this game is very intricate for it. And I think it's really cool. How many ducks? I lost count. The pawn is going to jail? Speaking. Thin? Funny. Speaking. Goo. What is that? Goo do? Hulking? Scream? Speaking the... Is this goon? Is this gooning? Oh, beating the cops? I mean, it's like beating the cops? Oh, heck yeah. Beating the cops... Copsing. Okay. Beating the copsing. I like it. Alright, alright. So I get it, I guess. I don't think there's a save thing that... No, I might have to reinstall and start a whole new game. That might be it. Oh, alright. Who lost a brain cell just now? I'll get some sleep now. Got a few things to fix tomorrow. Lurking. Good day, people. Nice game. Thank you. Thank you, Evans. Have a good lurk. Alright, this is my Ben, I assume. Oh my god, spooky. Alright. It's going to be beaking the copsing. I like it. And then with like more than enough ducks. Trash? No. This is good. This is perfect. Beaking the copsing. With all the ducks. And one of the ducks definitely don't have a BB over there. Are you done with your poster? Yeah. Hell yeah. Posters? Posters. Yep. Well, you finished before me, so you might as well go first. Now that I actually have to show it off, I'm a little nervous. I've never done something like this before, and I'm worried I might have messed it up. Well, we can skip you, I guess. Just show it. It's alright. We don't have all day, just go for it. Promise you won't be mean? I promise I won't be mean on purpose. You know, I promise. Quaver is just a little kid. Okay, here goes. Oh, are you still putting treble and clef in there? It just says, oh no, Quiver's poster is bad. Nah, it's not that bad, is it? I mean, if you exclude treble and clef, then maybe. Music 7 PM, let's go, Pog. This is great. Be nice. Yeah, she's 12. This is great. You really think so? Yeah. I really like it. You really see what I'm going for then? Yeah. That's us, right? There's supposed to be pictures of cat. Oh shit, Quaver, wait. I mean... Yeah, it's for cats. That's what us? That? No, what did that? Huh? That's not us, that's cats. Yeah, of course. You really didn't get that? No, it's like... Do you think I look like a cat? Quiver, it's great. What do cats even have to do with concert of bands? Quiver, it's great. I knew it. Not only is it bad, but you can't even tell the difference. Hey, I'm right, aren't I? Yeah, you're right. You're terrible at drawing, and I might as well be. Holy, this is 180. Yes, you're right. You're terrible at drawing, and I might as well be blind. Holy, this would make her feel so bad. She would be pissed. I would just throw my controller away and stop playing. Holy shit. Nah, I'm not gonna be that mean. No, look, I really mean it. Really? Of course I don't. Of course I do, Quaver. You gotta trust me. Me saying that that's us? I'm lying. I know exactly that's going to be cats, right? Yeah, that's cats. That's kind of what worries me. Come on. So, I guess it's my turn, huh? Here's mine. Duck! Speaking the coxing! Beat made a cool poster. It's very cool. I think it's very cool too. That deserves an F12. It's cool? That's it? It's cool. But which one are we gonna use? Cool sounds good. Let's use mine. Let's go with yours, I think. Let's use mine. I want the beaking the copsings. Alright? Beaking the copsing. Definitely doesn't sound like beat the cops, right? It's fine. It's just beaking the copsing. Don't worry about it. So, where should we put these things up? Band posters are surprisingly effective at screwing with fascists. There's that ugly patch of propaganda on the wall over there. You could start there? I guess. Thanks, Quaver. Switch more. Wall in need of posters. Yeah, a bit like the not hungry but I could eat version of tiredness right now. I'll stay in a bit. The wall in need of posters. Hell yeah! That looks much better. Until too fat to catch good things. I'm surprised it's still on. Someone come here to restock it? Probably not. So don't eat any of the food. But it could be good though, Quiver. I'm a kobold, I think it's great. I wonder what this was supposed to advertise. Sandwiches? That's an interesting guess. Isn't that why it's called a sandwich board? Oh no, it's the hinge design. It looks like a sandwich. I never seen a sandwich that looked like that. You know, I'm the beat here. How the fuck is that sandwich board? Wait, why do you know this? I had to make one for school. We did a project where we had to run ads for a fictional product. Then we had to tabulate what methodology garnered the best results. And did the sandwich board go well? What were the results? Didn't even see the poster in the shack. I just kind of went everywhere and checked. For school? Why are you surprised for school? Your words mean nothing to me, so mean. And did the sandwich board do well? Oh, no, it was last place. Well, that explains why it's here. Fair enough. Do we go beat up more cops? In-game? Yeah, And Quiver, please explain to me what's going on here. What do you mean? What exactly is fungal footwear? Like, is that it? It has to be stuff for people with athlete's foot, right? Huh? Which athletes? I mean, it can't be. Is it? Is it mushroom shoes? Is it mushroom shoes? Huh? It's mushroom shoes? You bet it is and I want it. Can we get some mushroom shoes? That'll be nice. How about generic soda, Quaver? What do you think about this? So, which is it? What? Is it neutral or nothing? It's both, kinda. It doesn't really taste like anything, which I guess means it's neutral. And also means it's nothing. It's neutral and nothing doesn't ring the same. I don't know, it sounds better to me. Why'd you call it generic on purpose anyway? Seems like bad marketing. I'm spending a lot of time talking about this. It's good marketing then. I guess so? Something else is bugging me. Oh, I missed it. Something always is. That's the same billboard twice. One on top of the other. They are not the same though? They are. No, one's green and the other's pink. They are the same billboard. But one's green. Enter the cafe. Nice smelling bread. This bread smells great. I wish it didn't. Huh? There's all this dust in here and the bread is just open. Frick. It's open to all of it. Yeah, the dust is on you too. I'm trying not to think about that. I'll continue smelling this bread until I'm told to stop. Please buy it first. I will not continue. I will not continue smelling the bread. That's a good call, Pete. Can I get you anything? Yeah, actually. What? What? What can I get you? Oh, I have no idea. Sorry. I'm just trying to mess Beat up. Nah, thank God. What's your favorite bottle of water? What kind of question is that? It's water. Yeah, but some is better. This is silly conversation. My favorite bottled water is the one I drink when I'm thirsty. That's not an answer. You know what? I don't care about any water I drink other than one. The Sunny. I don't like the Sunny. I don't know if you guys feel the same about the Sunny, but my god, the Sunny tastes like metal. You know the Sunny has that metal taste? It's so bad, I hate it. I never tried it. Good. Don't. There's so much better drinking water out there. Hi. She paid, right? No need. That's very nice of you. It's more of a money's no good here kind of deal. Too long of a story for right now. Maybe I'll tell it to you over a bowl sometime. If I ever get a break. Town Square? What? What? Is it upside down now? Oh, wait, it's gone good? Oh, oops. From just the seagull noises. Hell yeah. That was sick. That was so good. Look at the sea. There used to be a bridge. You remember that? I do. It's so cool she's sampling random noises and make a melody out of it. Yeah, holy shit. Neon sign. I love how unique this game is. Very unique. I mean, I cannot say that I played something like this before. Definitely not. 952? Where's the first 95? I think it's supposed to be 925? Maybe? Are they only open from 9 to 5 p.m.? 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.? It's a 24-hour shop. Then... why? Exactly. I had no idea. Is there even is 925 even real? I don't think it is. Is it? I mean, I don't see it here in Malaysia at least. Whacktown. Clerk? Hello. Are you ready for infinite balls? Oh my god, infinite balls, please. God, balls on my don't worry about it. I don't like the question. Balls. Not real? I think it's supposed to be a reference like 7-Eleven. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah? Great! For the low price of rounding error. Congratulations! Select your course difficulty. Would you like easy or not so easy? Not so easy. You selected hard. Your balls are waiting in Bay 2. Bye. Alright, guess we are whacking balls. Snacktown? Oh, I get it, because it rhymes, yeah. I'm fairly hungry. But we don't have any money. Is Snacktown really where you want to grab food? Oh, we don't have any money. You don't have any money. You have money? You're so irresponsible. Alright, it's whack time. I don't know what I'm doing, but hey, it's whack time. Okay, I that was so self-explanatory. Swing! Swing! Okay. Oh. Okay. And triplets? Swing! Oops. It's so fast. Ugly. Swing! 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 Take out the ball game? That's so fun. Swing! I got a B from that? Hell yeah. Swing! Please come get your prize. And congratulations! This looks unsettlingly realistic. The hell is this? Gross! Maybe I can try infinite balls at easy. Alright, let's do the easy one and see how different it is. Swing! Swing! So it's slower then. Too early? Swing! Nice. Yeah, easy is pretty easy. Yeah. I like it. Would you like to know a fun fact about this mini game? This one? Sure. Swing. My first S plays? The music and rhythm changes depending on what day cycle you're in. Day cycle? So like morning, afternoon, and night? Question mark? That wasn't too bad. Swing! Oh, I can't do it, dude! I know, man, I know. That thing's crazy! It's broken! Totally busted! It's too fast! There's no way anyone can hit those things! Yeah, you can wreck. Don't say it, dude! What? What's the problem? Don't say balls! Huh? I'm gonna freak out. Don't say balls. Traumatized by balls. I should try out the Night Cycle one. It's my favorite. I'll try to keep in mind. Yeah, they have different music. Okay, what's wrong? The pitching machine has a ghost in it. A ghost? It does not have a ghost. Ghosts are... I'm going to cry. Wait, are ghosts actually fake? Why do you think there's a ghost? I've always just assumed ghosts were fake. It's trying to kill us. It throws them way too hard and way too fast. What if ghosts have been real this whole time? That's usually how things go though. Batting cages are just bad. Not like this. I don't want to go back in there, man. You don't have to. Yeah, we do. Otherwise our coach is gonna ruin our lives. We're gonna prove ourselves. That's what he said. We can't go back without doing it. Oh, no. I'm gonna have lifelong trauma. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be what? Therapy talking about this forever. These kids need help. Huh? Oh, sure. Ghost in the pitching machine accepted. I just did it. Baseball? We can't do it. We're trying, but we can't do it. We're done for. You know, I managed to beat it. How? For real? You saw it? Yeah, I won the prize at least. Oh god, I wish that was me. They'll never be us. We're doomed. How long have you been trying to win at Whacktown anyway? It's been 3 great levels. What the shit? Wow, sorry. Bye, good luck with that. Or... bye, good luck with that. It's no use! Take this! Sorry, wrong game. It's no use. We'll never be lucky again. It goes in the pitching machine complete. Oh, heck yeah. What? Don't think about why it's stamped. Damn access codes? Why is that there? This apartment seems nice. Well, they used to be. Yeah? These days a lot of them are just empty rooms. Oh. I really love these, like, the 2D and 3D mix. Hey. Huh? You committed to a parking violation. We don't have a car. I never parked in my life. Die. Brother! No, it's too fast. Oops. Uh-oh. Wait. There's still music in my brain. Oh, there we go. Oh, Nuclear, hi. Oh my god, I didn't know you stream. Hello. Oh my god, thanks for headpit. There were two music in my brain. I don't know which one to listen to. Welcome. Oh my god, how are you doing? What were you playing? Wow. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen? Oh, wait, that's a game that I never finished. I forgot. I played it and then eventually I kind of forgot about it. Oh god. It's a game about dragons, I think. I mean, there's a dragon at first, but then there's no dragon for a long time. Maybe that's why I kind of stopped playing it. While streaming Dragon's Dogmas? Heck yeah. Hopefully Dragon's Dogma is fun. Dogma balls. A dragon can dogma balls, I guess. Anyway, welcome in, Raiders. I'm usually a kobold, but today I'm a snake, so I'm Stixia, I'm a snake. I play a bunch of games. I love fighting games. I love dragons a bit still, and I love dragon bits also. And I do art sometimes. Welcome. Hope you are doing good. Oh my goodness. And if you need any post-stream care, definitely go do them. Dragon's Dogma is one of my favorite games and one of my comfort games. Oh, that's cool. I think I played Dragon's Dogma and then I went to a place where I need to talk to a woman, and then it brings me to a different place, and then I need to kill things over there, but I keep dying because the monsters over there are so strong. So maybe I kind of sequence skipped a little bit, question mark, maybe? I don't know. I think it's that point, and then eventually I kind of stopped playing it because there's no dragons in the game. Only at the start I see whatever the big, the huge dragon is that took our heart. Yeah, that one. Oh, that dragon is hot though. Ow. Also, I'm playing Unbeatable. This is the demo. It's a rhythm game. Very cool rhythm game. I love it. I think 25 is good. How do we know it's night? Okay, so top right says afternoon right now. What, you need the posters? Heck yeah. Oh, I need to find these and then just put posters on them? The lighthouse? Oh, it's these things again. The way this game presents itself is so unique though. Oh god, what did I stream to 3 AM? That used to be me. Eventually my doctor told me to not do it ever again because my body cannot handle it. So I changed my stream time. Still got a lot of posters and a lot of hungry looking walls. Oh, okay. So eventually we need to go to the lighthouse. We're gonna show them what Beaking the Cop Sing is, right? So my poster is Beaking the Cop Sing. Check this out. Beaking the Cop Sing with too many ducks and one duck with a pee-pee over there. Don't worry about it. Don't look at it. It's okay. I'm so tired. Rest. Oh god. this is a lovely little spot. If we had more time, I just want to be here for a while. Yeah, I know what you mean. I wish we could. Mm-hmm. Hmm? Oh, hi. The hell is this supposed to be? We're putting... It's caveman brain obvious what you're doing, dipshit. Why are you doing that? I'm surprised you're still here. Yeah, well, me too. You're gonna get yourself killed. This is stupid. I'm sure you'll love that. Oh, I would. Ugh. I get the freaking hint. I'll go where I'm wanted by. Gosh, just go away then. Now it's nighttime? Now it's evening, I think? Sunset. Oh, sunset. Oh, I forgot sunset is a word. We were at Town Square, right? Yeah. And then there's still like train station. Pedestrian sign. I don't know what this sign is about, but it's giving me good vibes. It's because there's no sidewalk. It warns cars about pedestrians. Oh, and pedestrians about cars. Yeah, you have to be careful. Thinking too hard about this now, and I'm liking the vibe less. The vista. Did we really walk that far to get here? Can't even see the rest of the town. It didn't feel that far. That's just because I'm that fun to be with. Oh, you mean like because of the time? When you're having fun, you're always having fun when I'm around. I don't know if that saying is true. That's one of the thing about this game. If you can give the pass for now, the dialogue overlap each other. I think it's for like. I think they're to simulate the real talking situations where people like intentionally try to cut people off. I guess it's a design choice. Not sure if I'm a big fan, but hey, I guess it kind of works. Unk, what are you doing, Unk? I'm definitely not stepping on you. They need to pace it right. If they can do that, that would be amazing, honestly. There we go. Alright, that should do it. Could go to the lighthouse. Unless there's anything else I wanted to do first? I don't think there is there? Oh, more pamphlets. It does work, but the camera is important for you to understand that they are being cut off. Yeah, that too. It's okay, it's a demo. I'm pretty sure someone will point it out. I mean, it's a it's a thing in the game. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that people like see it as kind of a small problem. I didn't notice you have something yet to do in the starting area. Yield sign. This is a yield sign in a field. A field yield? A small yield in the field to shield the... Stop. You started it! I think the interactions between the characters are kind of adorable. Bye, Quaver. It sucks to get stuck. Oh wait, you're back. I didn't notice you were starting this starting area. Okay. I want this game to get good, so reviews help. Yeah. I would drink. Let's go to the starting area then. Also, it's kind of funny when I first started out this game, I changed the graphic settings to low because of my PC shit, and then the game looks like crazy. The game looks really bad. And shader problem, right? I assume it's a demo thing. Yeah, for a demo, this is really big, right? I'm surprised. Look at the sea. For a demo that lasts for about 2 hours is crazy. You can climb up to the billboards? Oh. Hey, I've been meaning to ask. We're staying in this place because of this, right? A quiet sunrise. Well, yeah. Have you ever been here before? No. I've only ever seen the photo. Look, I hope I'm not overstepping. But do you want to finish these out? A bunch of these are here in town, I think. Okay, sure. Might be a nice distraction at least. We could use one of those. You could use one of those. Take photo. You might as well check this one off the list. Finger on the button? Okay. Take a position, soldier. I'm gonna sit this one out actually. Oh, really? It doesn't feel right. Should I still... Just go for it. What am I doing? I pressed the wrong button. How did it come out? I don't know what happened here. Did your hand slip? Maybe you should try again. Yeah, let's give it another shot. LB! Oh, LB! This is so disorienting. Oh, wait. It's this! But there's no sun. I mean, it's more or less this, I guess. Alright, I got it. Time to come out. It's pretty close. You got the job done. But I could be happier. Nah, yeah, I'm happy with this. Nice shot. Nice. It's the same place, just shittier. Sorry, I wish it wasn't like this. It's seen better days. So have we. So, am I supposed to complete all these? I mean, I'm not supposed to, but no, it's not. It's not like it's compulsory, but you know what I mean. Oh, that's where the location is. Oh, did I just found something that you haven't? Oh my god, I feel accomplished. Wow, oh my god, I'm the best gamer in the world. Go back into town. Bed. I guess for EP. You still have shit to do, come back later. Okay, game, I'm sorry. You don't have to be so rude about it. Not yet. I still have stuff to do today. Right, yes. Apparently I still have shit to do, okay. I didn't mean to press that. Ay, yo, yo. Ay, yo, 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 yo. Can we still talk about fungal footwear? Quiver, hold up a second. It'll be quick. Check it out. Record store? Better times. Oh, I can't believe you noticed that I didn't. I can't take credit for this one. It was Treble, actually. He gave me a little bit of shit for not knowing. Either way, it's a shame this place isn't around anymore. At least the new shop seems okay. A nice little local bookshop cave. Not the worst place in the world. The books suck and I don't like coffee. Don't knock it till you try it. Or actually, don't. Coffee isn't good for kids, yeah. Can you mesh the photo up? Yeah, I can do that. Let's try it. Can I change the orientation? Can I change like landscape instead of portrait? I hate it. I think this is close enough. Alright, took the photo. Does it look good? Let me see the photo. Oh, this honestly looks like a perfect match. Yo? I'm the best? The angles are right and everything. Do you think so too? I'm picky. This is as good as it gets. It looks good, but it's not the same. Well, yeah, it's not your mom, it's you. And it's a new photo. The vibe is all wrong. This is the right spot, right? I mean, it is, but none of it is the same anymore. That's how time works. Hi, Definite. Little creatures? Heck yeah. And big creatures. Today, I'm big. The small one is taking a rest. Hope you're doing good, Definite. This game is cozy. This game is a lot more cozier than I thought. Unless we're beating up cops, then that's a different vibe. But when nothing is happening, this game is very cozy. And then you have fungal footwear. Look, fungal footwear. I'm so curious. I want to give it a try. photo with quiver. Store photo with quiver. And then the rest is just question mark. That doesn't sound healthy. Which one? Oh, is it the beating the cops up part? I think I'm gonna go to the... I'm gonna do a few more whack balls because I like balls. I think balls are pretty good. You're getting destroyed out there. I'm not. That's okay for the low price $7.77777 trillion. Checking. No. Would you like to raise the difficulty? Yeah. You selected hard. Your balls are winning in Bay too. Balls. It's whack time. Swing! Swing! Oops. Oh. I got lied to. I should have waited. Swing! 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 Why is this the best game ever? Swing! The next cycle is what traumatizes kids for sure. I got an S plus for that? Holy shit. I'll take it. Big number go. So stylized, this game. That wasn't too bad. How do I get to night cycle? Swing! I just skip them? How I skip them? By doing stuff? What kind of stuff can I do? Just do... What kind of stuff can I do? Do I go lighthouse? I guess I go lighthouse. 哎呦呦！我操！我电脑要爆炸了。Swing! If you climb a billboard? No lighthouse, no. Oh, okay. I climb billboard. Alright, macam mana saya mau guna ini? Sue. Can I go to the bar again? What now? Do you actually want a drink? Long Island iced tea? God. Please don't do this to me. Not the reaction I was expecting. Do you know what a Long Island iced tea is? 4 alcohols at the same time, I think? It's 5 alcohols at the same time. Well, at least ours is. We use triple sec on top of... It doesn't matter. I am truly sick of making them today. Sorry. I don't have any money anyway. You and me both. Actually, hey. Hey? Hey. Do you want a job? The entire concept of exchanging money for labor should be a crime. Yes. Excuse me? Like a thing you do for money. Get off the stool? No. Beat is 5 inches 8. She doesn't need that. I need it. I don't know how big my snake is, but I need it. Like it. Well, actually, in this case, it wouldn't be paid. That's not a job. I mean, I'll chase some of my tips from this empty jar. That could change. You didn't think this true at all. I did not. Yep. Whatever. Can you find it in your heart to help me out? No, sorry. She's that tall? I don't know. Theory, both know 60 is fucking tall. Yeah, and I need it still. I need stools. I feel insecure about my height. It's a joke. Oh my god. No, I need my stool to feel safe. Sure. Really? Yeah, really. Thank you. Oh no, what if... I need $4? Stop being short. Aren't you tall in real life? No, I'm 171 cm. Okay, have you done this before? Actually, don't answer that. And first thing, before we start, make me an old-fashioned. That's regular height. To a lot of people, I'm short. Old-fashioned. You have no idea how to make an old-fashioned. Okay, look, that's fine. Customers are stupid. Trust me, most people don't really know what they want. Okay, I'll walk you through this step by step. Let's start by adding an ingredient to your mixer. Contains nothing. Has tasting known. You know what ice is, I hope? Cold refreshing ice. Great, you did something. Not great, it's not what I want. Empty the shaker. An old-fashioned is a nostalgia, bitters, and demerara. Throw those 3 ingredients in together. Nostalgia, bitters, demerara. Keep it simple. Nostalgia, bitter, demerara. Makes sense, sir. Nice, nice, nice. Perfect score. Like I said, that's all to do with flavor. Once everyone is tall, hello? Is it? Oh my god. I remember going to the... I always think I'm short because whenever I went to Firm, the furry convention that happens in Malaysia, I'm always like the shortest one. I'm always like so short around my friends. Like, oh my god. Perfect ingredients means perfect flavor. But a cocktail is a cocktail because it's a cocktail. I mentioned that you need both flavor and smoothness. What's 171 in Freedom Unit? Ayo. I go Google check. 171 cm to inch. Is it inch? Is 171 cm 5.7 dot dot? .171 cm is 5.7 dot dot. I'm taller than you. That's average height? Oh shit. Okay, I'm not that short. Fuck. Hell yeah. But as a kobold though, I need that stool. I mentioned that you need both flavor and smoothness. To get it smooth, mixing is as important as the stuff being mixed. And that takes technique. You have to shake it just the right way. 100, holy! 175. Oh, that's taller. 170, 164. I'm taller. Each drink has its own, well, I cannot legally say it as its own rhythm. But yeah, you know it when you know it. Feel out what the drink needs. What? I don't get it. Well, shit. You really do not know how to make a goddamn drink. I'm a little worried. Maybe you should try again? I don't understand. What do I press? Okay, I think that's it, right? Okay, so you do know how to make an old-fashioned. Apparently. Damn, you're gonna be fine. Can you just make maybe something that I can taste the alcohol in? Can you just make me something that I can't taste the alcohol in? Balanced, sweet but balanced. And fruity. What? Fruity, sweet and balanced. But still alcohol. Sorry, I shouldn't backseat bartend. Oh, I guess that's just ordering a drink. Pure sugar? What is this? That's pure. Does it taste like just alcohol? Does it taste like anything? Balanced sweetness, Pure sugar? There's pure water, that's basically it. I guess I'll mix ice to it. This is kind of bad. Oh, that's quite nice actually. Oh shit, okay. Stirred, not shaken. Milk. That's really something. I could drink this for the rest of the night. Yo, I'm so good. Please don't let me do that. But thanks. Damn, you did a good job. There's maybe a hint of bite, but it's really well hidden. I might come back later. Thanks. Hey, you're new here, aren't you? Do you know what you're doing back there? Sorry, just teasing. I'll make my order simple. I want something crisp, balanced, and refreshing. Sophisticated, but not earthy, and not very alcoholic, if at all. How does that sound? Okay, so you want something, definitely this one, right? You want something crisp. Seas alcohol older than the earth? No. Just alcohol? Is that anything? Wait, does it want alcohol again? I don't know. I'm dead. This is absolutely awful. But that's the drink's fault, not yours. You did a great job making it. I should make you do something else next time. Oh no. Hi. You know what I want? I'll make it super simple for you. Give me something planty, every plant you got. Throw them all in. What the fuck? Okay, fruit. You want this, right? Soaked in wood. And then I guess I'll give less pure water, pure sugar. Doesn't taste like anything except alcohol. Yeah, I did. Wait, that's floral. Floral and medicinal, right? Sour and nostalgia. You did it! You planted! Oh, hell yeah. Hey, Cup. Oh, that's Cup. Do you know how to make an old-fashioned? That's what I want. Shit. Bitters, nostalgias, and demerara, I think. Oh man, that's a freaking drink right there. Woo boy, woo brother, damn, that's got juice. Actually, this has got juice. You could never tell. You gave him the plant guy the worst drink I could imagine. I mean, they want a plant. Especially because it was warm. Don't worry about it. He liked it. I didn't survive this minigame. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm surviving, I think. God, you know, I could fall in love with you. Brother, get out. You're not a dragon. Thank him, lady. What? Okay. Dude, smelly. I am falling asleep over here. Do you have anything caffeinated? No? I just need something to shock me awake. Alright, you want sour? No alcohol for you because holy shit. Now you want pure sugar? Balanced sweetness? Nah, and ice. Yeah. That's a lot of shake. Oh, that does the trick. And now I'm freezing. I'm freezing. Oh my god, that's so much money though. Oh, did I not do it? Oh, I didn't do it. Please don't ever do this again. For your own sake. You're not very good at this. God, I hope I feel that position soon. Oh, did I not do it? Oh shit, I thought I was good though. That was kind of fun. Wait, is it nighttime? Oh, it's not nighttime. Shit. You got 66 out of 69. What? Oh damn! It's because I made something so shitty for the third customer. That's it. All right, how do I climb the goddamn billboard? Okay. Oh, I did it. Wow, what a jump! Actually, what's a billboard? Oh, is this the... That's a billboard, right? Vandalism. Oh! What? Okay. Oops. Did I not do it? What? I guess I did. I guess I did it. I don't know. Quaver, you think it's good? Quaver? Quaver, what do you think about that? You got an A? Could be an S though? How'd you know I got an A? Oh, it says it's A. Wow, walao eh. How 细到 I don't even know how 完了，真的是什么鬼 I guess I can try to get an S question mark? Delayed? I don't understand. I don't believe this. Oh. Nah, it feels weird. I don't think game offset like happens here. No way. Ah, shit. You're hitting the circles maybe too early? Well, I don't know. I try to hit the circles as accurate as possible, I think. Oh. Hey, Quiver? Do you hear that? Hear what? There's music playing overhead right now. That doesn't seem weird to you? Oh, I shudder at the thought. Our store doesn't play music. Quiver, am I okay? You aren't. This is ambient calypso. Honestly, I agree with him. This isn't music. I kinda like it. It's there. It's for sure a thing I can hear. Come on, it's catchy. It's the only thing better than silence. So, to double check, here, music? Hate it. But this is good. I like this. If you could have a show where someone made something that sounded like this, we're not pretty much just like this. Would you go to that? We're doing a show tomorrow night. Would you want to be there? Maybe. Maybe if you buy some wares. Oh yeah, fine. Do you have roses? Roses? I want to make the shack look nice. We only sell chibisbis here, I'm afraid. Chibisbis? I only heard about bibis and gulu. I don't know anything about chibisbis. Chips? Chibisbis. Do you have any flowers at all? Chisps? Cheese pies. Chipispis. Anyway, are you coming to our show then? Those labels say taco. These are chips? I will murder if you I will murder you where you stand if you do not step foot outside right now. Taco is chips? Quaver, what have you done? But I don't even know you can go inside learning new things. Hell yeah. Pumpernickel? Onigiri? And stop jumping on things. Do not listen to this child. Shopkeeper? Quaver is right, but you know what? I like your answer more, shopkeeper. Free yourself. Child, please jump on the counter with her. Don't let your fear become you. Yeah! Come on, not again. I'm just checking it out. You're in the store. She has every right. Don't encourage her, please. She's going to get herself killed one day with this freaky habit. And she would die happy doing so. That should be everyone's goal. This is stupid. I'm just doing this to annoy you now. It's not. It's wonderful. Keep going. I was like talking to you. Tell her to get down. This is embarrassing. Nothing is embarrassing except yourself. If you lose yourself, you lose your shame. In the music, the moment. I'm leaving the store. Good. Oh, I've become my true self. No longer will I have any shame. No longer will I have self-doubt. Is this about jumping on the counter? Are you sure? One thing confusing about this location is that you can tell if it's American based or Japan based. Yeah, I don't know. I will bounce for eternity. Whoa. Huh. Did you actually kick me out? Is shopkeeper like an eldritch being? Hey. Okay. Oh my god, ice cream. This is a lobster tank. Yes. This is a corner store. Yes. With a lobster tank. Yes. And you're keeping ice cream in it. Are there also lobsters in iced cream? Yep. There's a lobster here. And it's still alive. Just hanging out with the ice cream. Iced cream. Can you get prion diseases from a lobster tank? Is it cold enough? Isn't it wet? Isn't it wet? Cream is wet. That's a truly disgusting 3 words you just said. You know what? I didn't really get the humor. Now I do, and I love it. It's amazing. The train station is location in Japan, but you can find things that you would usually find in American locations in games. So I'm confused. Maybe they're going for a fusion one. I don't know. I just think maybe that's like their own like fictional place? Question mark. I hate the wrappers on these things. I don't think I ever opened a single one correctly. Same. Pumpernickel. Pumpernickel. Do we eat nickels? Is a nickel like cent? Like how many cents as in money? Iced cream, freshly iced. I will bounce for eternity and just kick me out. Gachapon. Hey, Quaver, got a quarter? Those takes 4 quarters. Alright, fine, sorry. Hey, Quiver, got 4 quarters? Do you? Alright, fine. Just this once. But we're sharing. How do you share a toy? You never learned that sharing is caring? Caring, yeah, I know, but it's like a teeny tiny little trinket. Are we gonna take like joint custody? Hi, Merp. What's that mean? It's... okay, wait, hold on. I don't want to be trapped into explaining divorce to a kid. I know what divorce is, Pete. So basically, both parents have to share the one kid. That sounds hard. It sounds better than nothing. Anyway, what have we got? Ooh, maybe a hamster could ride it. This is useless. Yep, gachapon, baby. I have a suggestion. If Carl has respawned, maybe get beat up by him again. Maybe time will change. The cop is dead forever. Jade, help! How do I advance time? Also, hope you're doing good, man. Can I jump down here? Not lighthouse, right? Oh no, I'm stuck in perpetual sunset. When I was playing Wrecktown again and again. Maybe that could... Nah, I'm gonna give it a try. I mean, I can never get sick of swing. Hey, you're getting destroyed out there. I'm not. Stop checking, a little shit. No. Oh, it didn't say about... Oh shit. Would you like to lower the difficulty? I said, actually no, I got this, and then he kicked me out. What? Oh, I just do the... Oh, oops, okay. Swing! 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 Yeah. Swing! Yeah. Swing! Hey. Oh. Yeah. Swing. 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 If you're stuck in Sunset Forever, just restart. Okay, I'll give it a try. It would just be stuck in one frame and so I had to close it and reopen again. So it's like the entire game? Yip yip swing. 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 Oi! Something broke. Nope, didn't break. Thank goodness for carpet. That must have been loud, I'm sorry. Everything's fine. You remember the poster thing? I hit all the circles and then... Oh, legs! And then nothing happened. I was just looking at the posters. That's what I mean by it crashing. Oh. I don't want to be sunset anymore, you fuck. I'm going to the lighthouse. It's fine. I still want to check out Arcade and I don't think I can stream for too long. See, yeah, it's almost 4 PM. I can stream for a little bit, I guess. I'm going to a lighthouse, unfortunate. Hey, I'll check it out off stream then after, maybe. Since this week I'll be a lot more busier, so stream time will be a lot lesser. Can't drive this. Well, not only can I not drive this, it's transparent. I can face through it. People have really started uploading on YouTube. You can look at different stages. No, I'll check it out on my own. I feel like if games like this, looking at YouTube is not very... Go down the road. Oh, okay. Hell yeah. So cool. From just the vending machine noise. Heck yeah. Look at the rest area. This one stood out to me actually. Because oh, he lost a bet. Beat does this too. You ever been here? Nope. Good luck getting this picture. Why? Actually, never mind. I think he lost a bet. To who? About what? The part I've never been told. I think there's no way this photo won't end up an improvement. That's not really the point of doing this. Also, come on, that's my dad we're talking about. Yeah, I know, but I kind of know what you mean. Ready to take the pic? Yep. Let me get set up. Oh wait, it's this. Maybe? Alright, got it. How did it turn out? I think we nailed it. As good as we could anyway. I mean, it's exactly the right angle at least. It's exact. You look better than him though. Actually, mind if we try it one last time? It's exact. You look better than him though. Like I told you. It is an improvement. Heck yeah. Good luck getting this picture. I did it. You don't take after your dad much, do you? I do in some ways. I mean, at least you look like your mom. Or, well, more like her than your dad. I guess it's hard for me to notice that sort of thing. It feels weird to try seeing myself in my parents. And yet, that is exactly what we are doing. Mind if I hop away for a second? Sure. I mean, sure, I don't mind. You know what I mean? Thanks. And, you know, thanks for all the trying. I really do appreciate it, you know? I cannot move. Did my controller stuck? Door stuck? Door stuck, Gordon? Door stuck? Help! Door stuck? I can't. How the fuck did I get stuck like this? How am I cannot press anything. Help! Fish me out! I'm stuck! Door stuck, Gordon! Help! I cannot pause on anything! Hiya! I'm spamming keyboard. Hiya! What? Damn it! It's not working. I'm opening up Task Manager. It's a demo, it's fine. I guess after that, don't walk towards the vending machine, huh? Yeah, that vending machine was bad. Quiver is gone? Alright, don't... How the fuck did that happen? Oh, I guess it's not happening anymore. Alright, good. Mm-hmm. Back to the waterfront. Fish using 1% of the evil vending machine's power. Oh shit. Where's Quiver? Are you at the shack? Also, I love this. I should sleep. You still have shit to do, come back later. No sleep allowed. What, so Quaver is just gone? Oh yeah, also... Chat, I have succumbed. You know what happened? I downloaded back Tekken 8. Oh shit. No, I have succumbed. I'm gonna go back to Tekken once more. Once again. No. I'm dead. I must play Tekken. It's my game. I wonder where Quaver went. Did I do something? Again? She would tell me. It's not like she's skipping town. Probably. You really don't? I don't know. I want Tekken. I want to punch things. And Heihachi is so hot though. I miss when Heihachi do the CD2 with just frame input, and then Heihachi goes, oh yeah, and then it's like, oh, so satisfying. Oh my god. Snake, hi Kelsey. I really don't know what else to do. I feel like I should just go to the lighthouse actually. Hey kids, are you okay? No? Alright. Oh, wait, one more place I haven't checked out yet. It's here. This place. Are you here? Are you at the resting place? This one? Have you seen a little girl? So Quiver must be in here, must be around here? We never got this one. Kinda funny since this place sticks out so much. Wait. Maybe I should just leave her alone. Am I forgetting something? Shit, I totally am. I'll come back later. How'd you lose Quaver? I did the vending machine and then Quaver just suddenly be like, I wanna go out for a bit. BRB. Quaver said BRB. Big. The lighthouse keepers live there? Is that where the house part comes from? I should look at that. I should look that up later. She never will. Apanya? Kenapa? Macam mana? Apa saya buat ni? Quaver sudah hilang. Saya tak boleh cari itu perempuan. There she is? Where? Am I tripping? I don't see Quaver at all. Ah? She's on top? What? On what top? I cannot even look at the top of the lighthouse though. I cannot get in this lighthouse. If she's at top, I don't know how do I get up. I mean, I don't even see her. Huh? I guess seeing her? Do I need to pan my screen on top? Como, what? What? The railings on top of that roof, that building, under the triangle decoration. Triangle decoration? Railing. Railing. Oh, what? 你他妈一正好谁看得到这种东西？真的是什么鬼啊？Just point vaguely at screen. Like, you cannot see that. What do you mean? It's so small. I mean, yeah, Quaver is small, but still. you can see that. It's so small. So I assume I have to take a photo of. Oh, that's why she said wait. Hi, Quaver. Is she crying? Well, that answers one question. Lighthouse photo with Quaver. It's Quaver. Okay. You've gotten really good at disappearing lately. The rail guards. I can't. You guys were seeing them. I just cannot see her. I don't even know what happened. Sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Been putting my foot in my mouth all day. Oh, this is such a vibe. Oh, shut up. I'm being an idiot. Hope you're okay with being found. You're not an idiot. You didn't say yes. I also didn't say no. The company is fine. It's not really about you. I'm still sorry for being a lot lately. And yeah, in my defense, well, take your pick. Many things to be a lot about, but still. I was kind of worried when I couldn't find you, you know. My mom used to say no make all the time. No make? Short for only sausage, no make. That's not a real phrase. Quaver, what does that mean? It's like, you know how you're not supposed to want to know how a sausage is made? Because I think I kind of get it. Right, it's like, don't let people see you put the work in. If you hide the work, everything you do seems like a magic trick. That's kind of cool. I'm happy I know how much work you put in, B. Sorry, don't turn my apology into your apology. I mean it though. Thanks for worrying about me. It's okay, B. I'm okay. Yeah, it's so crazy. Everything is hand drawn. It's so fucking good. Yeah, the 3D assets are, well, 3D assets. But the characters, I mean. That was loud. It's so loud. Help. Hey yo. Huge quaver. Damn. What is this camera work? Holy shit. That's it? That's the demo? How about the lighthouse thing? Is this like... Holy shit! Holy shit!
I say the lines, the syllables, got it memorized so I can make you stop. You treat me like a criminal, so why shouldn't I treat you like you're a cop?
Was it Taser? Shooting at kids? No, what the fuck? Oh, this year? A game where music is illegal and you do crimes? Fuck yeah! 2025! That is fucking crazy, bro. Holy shit. That ending sequence? Well, ending with a quotation mark. We're getting fucking Silk Song and Unbeatable. Oh, Silk Song is real now? Well, hooray. Hell yeah, no more debating with Silk Song anymore. Oh, did the Nintendo Direct did it? Holy shit. Spread the word, I want more people to play this. Well, I'm not that big of an influencer. I mean, I never thought myself to be one, but I mean, I do what I can, I guess. If I enjoy a game, I enjoy a game. If I don't enjoy a game, I don't enjoy a game. But for Unbeatable, so far, hell yeah, right? So far, it gets a hell yeah from me. I fucking love this game. I don't know anything about this game. I love it, right? Going in blind is... It's definitely an experience, yeah. It's so exclusive. I don't think Silk Song is exclusive. If they're gonna continue in the same vein. I mean, if Silk Song only happens in Nintendo, I don't know how people are gonna be about it. Especially these days when Nintendo has like... such a flop, honestly. I hope it's not. This may replace missed messages in my favorite games. I'm gonna try arcade for a bit. It's 4 p.m. It's 4:19 p.m. I think I can play for a little bit longer, just a little bit. Let's check out arcade for a bit. What is this? Yo? Yeah, Goodminton. Nah, it's not Goodminton. It's family dinner with my sisters and everyone. Family dinner. Yeah, I have family dinner. McDonald's? No, we're going to a place where my friend is the chef over there. Is like, ooh, it's pretty nice. McDonald's is too expensive here in Malaysia. It's like I'm not kidding. It's so expensive. Like we can go to like many different let's say restaurants, right? I'm not gonna say local eatery, but restaurants that provides much better food than McDonald's, right? Like one set of spicy chicken McDeluxe set medium is going to cost like 18 to 20 ringgit, I think. I haven't bought them in a long time, but man, it's expensive. Fancy McDonald's. I thought I got raided. Dog Noise remix. Subwoofer. Okay, I wanna try hard. I've been playing hard. I think I can got this. The remix is so good. You mean the Dog Noise remix? Woof. So cool. Wiggle fingers? Mm-hmm.
You should be sitting up straight, but without stiffness, and should feel comfortable.
Oh wait,
Don't
this
ever
is...
let yourself become tense. Now let's type some more on the home row key. Ready?
Oh yeah, I have no straight roads on wishlist. Should I try to pick it up on the sale? Not the same depth, but there's some music for it though. I feel like, yeah, the vibe is there, even from the trailer alone. It has the vibe. Yeah, it definitely has the vibe. Let's play this one. Unbeatable. Why is this subwoofer just now? Oh, does not exist. Let's try level 7 first. I'm not that good.
You should be sitting up straight, but without stiffness, and should feel comfortable. Don't ever let yourself become tense. Now let's type some more on the home row key. Ready? Using proper rhythm, wiggle your fingers and jam the keys. A quick snap of the finger, and with practice, that's all there is to it. All there is to it.
Oops.
Are you relaxed? You should be, you know. Using proper rhythm, wiggle your fingers and jam the keys. A quick snap of the finger, and with practice, that's all there is to it. Using proper rhythm, wiggle your fingers and jam the keys. A quick snap of the finger, and with practice, that's all there is to it.
Nice. One okay, 10 miss, one good. I think I can play hard on everything for now. Let's play a few more. Dante's Inferno, what the fuck? I sure see a little beating. Heck yeah. It's too hard. You know, can I ah shit, it's not here. Sorry, give me a second. I want to remove this. They lied to me. No, they didn't. They didn't. It is technically unbeatable right now because the game is not even out yet. Right? Hmm? I feel very confused. Oh, you know what? I feel like I'm not really used to the buttons. Let's do a retry. I need to remember left hand is down, right hand is up. And left hand down. Left hand down. Oh. Oh. My brain, I don't know why, like, trying to get up and down is already so difficult. The music is so good. You guys hear this? I think this game is more fit for a piece, for a keyboard actually. So keyboard, how do you play this game? I feel like keyboard's a lot easier, since it will be a lot easier to identify up and down, I think. Let's give it a try. Return. Unless I have to play with a mouse, that would be kind of weird, no? Oh, another level 10. Oh, this one feels very hard. Is there like a keybind somewhere? Wait, I didn't mean to quit. I want to go to options. Hiya. Let me try using mouse to play this. Mouse and keyboard, or just keyboard. Is it gonna be like DFJK? That would be kind of cool. Yeah, dinner is very soon. I can only play like one more, I think. High, low, EDIK, FJ. Yeah, looks like DFJK. Yeah, okay, DFJK. High face buttons and low is D-pad. Oh. Okay, let's keep in mind. DFJK. I'm getting cheesed. Okay, let's play this one. Which one is high, which one is low? I don't remember. This is fine. Yeah, keyboard is a lot easier. Somehow keyboard is a lot easier than using gamepad. Heck yeah, I'll take a B. Alright, let's return. I'm gonna go prepare for family dinner tonight. I assume that's bed. Have a good bed, Zeus Pop. Alright, this game's fun. I can play this one more. Alright, can I move the fish away from my face now? Am I allowed to do that? Can I maybe push the fish away? Barracuda is a boat now. Oh, oops. Anyway, I gonna maybe maybe Right, wait. I'm gonna go find a right target. Also listen to this one. Yeah, what can I say? Heckin' Unbeatable is fun as heck. Love it. The vibe is so comfy, but when beating up cops, also feels satisfying. Funny. Yeah, game is amazing, honestly. The story may not be as... I don't think story is the main point there. I think the main point of the game is about rhythm game and also the satisfaction of how the game, how snappy the controls is for the rhythm game, and also just the general vibe of the story, right? I think the story content is not like, to know the story is close to impossible because I don't know, even now I still don't know what's going on, but in general, I enjoy playing story mode, not for the story, but because of the vibe, right? The game itself is very comfy. I love it. It's great. Yeah, it's just a demo as well. Can't wait for the full game to come out. And then we can do a full playthrough of it, probably, most likely. If I can afford it, definitely. But these days, I don't think I can afford anything more. I'm behind on bills, so I might have to remove that on top there. Yeah, that one next time, not this year. I'm still looking at who to Toonbolt. All right, I see Kunbolt, Toonbolt. Ooh, what is Toonbolt playing? FV Assembly. Is Toonbolt making a flying mobile? Yeah, no PC, unfortunate. I have to work on my financial situation first. No good PC. It's okay. My PC can still work. Heck yeah, right? It's good enough. Money wise, I'll any donation towards any donation using coffee, I'll use the money to like pay the bills and stuff. Or if not, it's okay, right? Just being here is already more than enough. I appreciate it. I really do. Heck yeah. Oh, that game looks so cool though. Here, let me wish this one. Every assembly. 2675. Oh, it's an early access game. I see Toonbolt has a lot of these like build your own mobile kind of game, which I have wishlisted a few because I saw Toonbolt playing it. It's so cool. That one looks cool as well. I want to try it. Well, in the future anyway. But for now, let me plug my things real quick. Fish of final fish reel, no lie. FR no cap. Speaking of coffee, this is my coffee link. And there's a monthly subscription if you are feeling extra generous, right? And monthly I believe monthly is $1 minimum, I think. but 1 is 1. That's pretty great, honestly. And also, I had to summon Bernie real quick. Hey, Bernie. Hey, Bernie.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
Thanks, Bernie.
Give Kobo money.
Give Kobo money. I appreciate that. But if you can't, it's also okay. You know, we're in this like financial situation. It's like financial crisis at the moment. It feels like everywhere is going crazy right now. Ever since that political problem happened about a few weeks back. Yeah, it's very scary. So I understand, and I also like just keep the money if you feel like I mean, honestly, only help if you can. If you cannot, it's also totally fine, right? Like I said, being here is pretty good already. So yeah. Anyway, I also have a Discord channel. Final fish. FR no cap. Right, my Discord channel. Yeah, I have a dragon simping corner over there. We can post a little dragon pictures over there. Because dragon's nice. I love dragons, heck yeah. And I also announced my stream stuff over there, like what I'm gonna do afterwards, because I will not be streaming again. I will not be streaming on this Thursday and Friday because of family moments. To keep it short, family moments, right? So I want to spend more time with my family. And then we caught Rally. I don't know who caught Rally once. I think it was Carnine. Yeah, I think it was Carnine who caught Rally. But yeah, I'll see you guys on Saturday, where most likely me and my friends will play more repo together, I think. Yeah. This is a raid message. If you don't have my emote, it's totally fine. Use whichever emote you want. Just probably don't use more than 4, because we don't want to flood the chat. And let me type in the raid to Toonbug. Done. Yeah, I'm also ready to raid, so yeah, before the raid, I want to say, have a good time with your family. Thank you, Will. I will. It's not gonna be a long time, sadly, but it's good enough, right? So, thank you, Will. Also, thank you, everyone. Wait, my brain stopped. What I want to say again? Oh yeah, we're raiding out. Yep, everything is fine. This is normal behavior. Thank you all so much for joining with me today. Really appreciate all of you. Love you all so much. And also know that you guys are heckin' loved, valid, and matter. Very valuable. A snake loves y'all, right? Yeah, words. Tough. Very tough. And here comes the raid to Toonbold, Cobalt friend, right? What? Do you have dragons in your phone? Or maybe games about dragons? Oh, snake. Just snake. Snake works. I mean, if I do this, it would just be this. Ooh, look at the circles. You're gonna get high. Hypno. Oh my god. Snake? What snake? Oh, I see his patterns. Wow. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Ooh, that looks so cool. just a ball of eyes. Heck yeah. And I'm back. Look at that. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Take care, everyone. Snake loves y'all, alright? I'm gonna wait for the raid to, go with its own. Wait for the timer to count down, so take Take care, everyone. Snake loves you all again. Another smooch. Mwah. Bye bye. See you guys on Saturday. Take care. Just sticking into the fish. Alright.